The South China Sea is once again the center of global attention. Today, on February 14, 2026, the waters are simmering with tension, not romance. Naval vessels from multiple nations patrol these critical sea lanes, their movements tracked by satellites and anxious military planners. At stake is more than just territory. It's the future of international law, freedom of navigation, and trillions in global trade. The latest spark, a bold new energy exploration deal between the United States and the Philippines, targeting untapped oil and gas reserves within the Philippines' exclusive economic zone, an area also claimed by China. Beijing has issued stern warnings, and Chinese Coast Guard vessels now shadow Philippine ships near the proposed sites. This escalation has put the entire region on high alert, turning a commercial agreement into a major geopolitical flashpoint. For years, China has tightened its grip on the sea, but explicit American backing for this project raises the stakes. The deal is a direct challenge to China's strategy of intimidation, forcing a confrontation over resources and sovereignty. The world is watching. This is a test of the US-Philippines alliance, China's ambitions, and the international order. Every maneuver on the water is part of a high-stakes chess match that could define Asia's future. The outcome will shape the region's security and economic landscape for decades. The new US-Philippines energy deal is a game-changer. It brings American expertise, investment, and security support to explore oil and gas in the Reed Bank, well within the Philippines' exclusive economic zone. For Manila, it's a vital step toward energy independence as domestic supplies dwindle. For Washington, it's a strategic move, signaling that US support is concrete and extends to protecting Philippine economic rights. The pact directly counters China's gray zone tactics, daring Beijing to interfere with a project now under US protection. This partnership gives the Philippines the confidence to assert its rights and shifts it from a passive victim to an active player. For China, it's a dilemma. Allow exploration and weaken its claims, or block it and risk direct confrontation with the US. The deal could inspire other Southeast Asian nations to seek similar partnerships, reshaping regional dynamics. It revitalizes the US role as a security guarantor in Asia, tying security to economic prosperity. The agreement creates a powerful deterrent against coercion, making the stakes clear for all involved. It's no longer just about legal principles, it's about real economic development and sovereignty. The region's future may hinge on how this bold move plays out. The energy deal comes with a surge in US military support for the Philippines. Washington is accelerating the modernization of the Philippine Armed Forces, not just with hardware, but with training, intelligence, and logistics. The focus boosting maritime domain awareness so the Philippines can better monitor and defend its waters. Joint military exercises like Balikatan have grown in scale and urgency, simulating defense of remote islands and maritime supply lines. These drills send a clear message to Beijing. The US and Philippines are ready to defend Philippine sovereignty together. Every Chinese provocation only strengthens the case for closer US-Philippine security ties. The US has reaffirmed its mutual defense treaty, making clear that an attack on Philippine forces in the South China Sea would trigger a US response. This commitment gives Manila the confidence to push back against daily intimidation. The goal isn't to provoke war but to prevent it by building credible self-defense and deterrence. A stronger Philippines is less vulnerable to coercion and better able to uphold its rights peacefully. Integrated deterrence, combining diplomatic, economic, and military tools, is the strategy. The Philippines can now negotiate from a position of strength, not weakness. The alliance is more than symbolic, it's a real force for stability. Even with a stronger US alliance, the Philippines must balance its ties with China. China is a geographic and economic reality, one of Manila's largest trading partners and a key investor. Philippine foreign policy is a careful balancing act, standing firm on sovereignty while keeping economic cooperation alive. Manila protests Chinese aggression, but also seeks common ground on trade, infrastructure, and climate issues. This dual-track approach allows the Philippines to compartmentalize disputes and pursue mutual interests. Manila is also diversifying partnerships, strengthening ties with Japan, Australia, India, and ASEAN. By building a coalition, the Philippines avoids overdependence on any single power. The strategy is pragmatic: assert rights, build capacity, and keep dialogue open with all sides. The goal is to secure the nation's future without becoming a pawn in great power rivalry. The US-Philippines energy deal reverberates across a web of regional alliances. The US military presence in the Pacific reassures allies and deters aggression. Japan and Australia, both US allies, are deepening security ties with the Philippines and increasing joint exercises. Minilateral groups like the Quad and AUKUS strengthen cooperation and complicate Beijing's calculations. This network of democracies presents a united front for a free and open Indo-Pacific. A challenge to one is a concern for many, making it harder for China to isolate any single country. These alliances promote transparency, reduce risk, and build confidence among partners. The US strategy is to empower allies to take a greater role in their own security. The result, a more resilient distributed system for regional stability. The Indo-Pacific's future depends on collective action, not unilateral power. China's strategy in the South China Sea is about dominance. Despite a 2016 tribunal ruling against its claims, Beijing has built artificial islands, military bases, and deployed Coast Guard and militia fleets. China's gray zone tactics, harassment, blockades, water cannons, aim to intimidate and exhaust rivals without open conflict. These actions are designed to establish de facto control and wear down smaller nations' resolve. Beijing frames its moves as defensive, vital for national security and economic lifelines. Chinese leaders see US alliances as containment and portray their own actions as legitimate self-defense. Joint US-Philippine exercises are condemned by China as destabilizing provocations. This clash of perspectives makes the region volatile. What Manila sees as upholding law, Beijing sees as a threat. China's goal is to make its presence and claims irreversible. The new US-Philippines energy deal is a direct challenge to this strategy, setting up a critical flashpoint. Despite rising tensions, diplomacy remains possible. The Philippines continues to engage China on trade and environmental cooperation, even as it strengthens its US alliance. Shared economic interests and environmental challenges offer common ground. The South China Sea's fragile ecosystems affect all, making joint conservation efforts a potential bridge. Collaboration on marine protection and combating illegal fishing could build trust, even amid disputes. Ultimately, lasting peace depends on dialogue and respect for international law. A binding code of conduct between China and ASEAN is a critical diplomatic goal. Such an agreement could prevent minor incidents from spiraling into conflict. The stakes are high. Regional stability is essential for global prosperity. The path forward demands strength, restraint, and a commitment to peaceful solutions. Leaders must navigate this complex landscape wisely to secure a peaceful future for all.